Greetings, it's the Chaos Being Cypher here with another share. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Now, while we were distracted with everything else that's been going on in the world, so many things has been going on under the rug, and we've not been paying attention to one of the biggest things that might be hindering us, not only on a physical level, but also on a metaphysical level, and hampering our divine capabilities and our abilities to tap in to the complete divine ability that we possess. Let's get right into it without any further ado, because this is a very important one.
I'm Shauna Swan. I'm a reproductive epidemiologist, and I'm really concerned about how fast sperm counts are declining. I've been studying this for a long time, and I and my colleagues published a paper in 2017 which went viral when we concluded that sperm counts had declined over the past 50 years at the rate of 1% per year.
Wow.
Basically been cut in half. And following that, we decided, because of the great interest in it, that we should expand that paper, bring it up to date. And so just a few weeks ago, we did that. We published the update of that paper. And so now we have more studies, a longer time period, and some new results that I think we'll talk about. So let me talk a little bit about those new results. So we added 7 years of data, and that doesn't sound very much when you have almost 50 years, but it's important because it's now, and people are most concerned about what's happening now. And we found two things that are really important in this new analysis. The first has to do with geography, and the other has to do with rate of decline. So let me break those down.
Affected.
In our original paper in 2017, we searched the entire literature and got every paper that met our eligibility criteria, regardless of the location. But there were very few papers in South America, Asia, and Africa. And so that meant that even though we did publish those, we were not able to say anything conclusive. There was nothing that was statistically significant about the declines in those areas because there were so few papers. So that was a real important question for us on our reanalysis. Has that changed? And the answer is yes. Since we published that paper, and since the studies that were included in that paper, that first one, there have been quite a few studies published in South America, Africa, and Asia. So many that now we can conclude, yes, among men who didn't know what their fertility was, we call those unselected men. Among unselected men, who are, by the way, most representative of the general population, there was a significant decline in Asia, Africa, and South America. So now we can say that our finding of a significant decline in sperm concentration and count is worldwide. So that was a big change from the 2017 paper. The other change from the 2017 paper was actually how fast are they declining. So we concluded in 2017 that the rate was a little over 1% per year decline. Now, when we look in recent years, particularly since the turn of the century, the rate is 2.64% per year. That's more than double 1.16, which was the prior finding.
Wow. More
than double the rate of decline. That is very fast and very unusual, given that this is only in the last, it was 18 years, from 2000 to 2018. Minus 2.64% per year. Extremely rapid decline.
Rapid, super fast.
So the causes of this decline, of course, is the question on everybody's mind. What's causing it, and can we do anything about it? So when we think about causes, we think, first of all, could it be genetic?
So you could watch the rest of the video and you could get a complete explanation that she's going to divulge. She's going to go into the diet and the other things that are affecting the libido worldwide. Worldwide. Population growth is down. Worldwide population growth is down. Worldwide, this is affecting relationships between men and women and between persons of all genders. Right? But for some reason, we're paying attention to everything else that's going on, and this great situation is being swept under the rug somehow. Now, before we move forward and we find out how this affects us chemically, before we find out how this affects us on a divine level, before we understand completely how this would affect us as a people, as an individual, let's understand a little bit more about the causes of this particular deficiency. Let's see what's going on.
And the answer is no, and that's because it's too fast. So genetic changes take many generations, and we're looking at
so it's not a genetic thing.
Now.
It's not within our
Human
genes.
Generations.
Someone is doing this.
So if it's not genetic, then what is it? Well, the two baskets are gene, environment, right? So that leaves us with environment.
Altering the environment,
so what is
epigenetics.
Environment? Is it just chemicals in the world? Well, that's certainly an important part of it, but also environment. If you think about the environment for an unborn child, for example, what is that environment? That environment is affected by many things that are going on in the mother's environment.
And who's controlling this environment?
And those are things like smoking. Did the father smoke right before he conceived the pregnancy? That matters. If the mother smoked when she was pregnant, that definitely matters. Did he drink a lot? Did she drink a lot?
But it's legal in New York now. But it's legal in most places, and then a lot of persons are smoking.
How much exercise do they get?
Diet is terrible right now.
What kind of food do they eat?
Places.
All of these things affect sperm count.
And even the nutrients
that's been published.
in the
I've
vegetables
published
are down.
that. Other people publish that. It's well known. So those are lifestyle factors. Put those aside, and then there are, if you will, the involuntary environmental factors. Many of them chemical, but not all chemical, by the way. So heat matters. The temperature actually matters. Noise matters, although not for sperm count, I don't think. But and then you have the chemicals. So the chemicals are all over the place, right? And there are chemicals in the products we bring into our house. There are also chemicals in our dust, in our air.
So many factors in the environment alone that are affecting our libido, the sperm count, the mercury, the thought energy, the Christ consciousness, your ability to interact with the polarity of your significant other. So many things. So many things. Now we're going to move forward and we're going to understand how this affects us if it is absent from an alchemical perspective. For those who study alchemy, this is going to be a treat because we're going to see how it now affects us on a level that we might not even understand from a lay person perspective. Let's get right into it. Now, this is coming from a very insightful alchemical presentation on Mercury. Let's hear what this brother is saying. He's giving some very insightful points on the power of sexual energy and just how important it is in alchemy and the fact that it is Mercury, the most important element in the whole alchemical system. And without it, functionality is almost obsolete. Let's get into it.
Placed at crossroads all over Greece. A crossroad is a cross, an intersection of four directions. And these stones were placed there as a symbol of protection and as a symbol of divine blessing. So we see already very strong connections between Hermes and Christ from the Christians. The cross, the number 4, the lamb, the ram, the rooster.
Okay.
Being born from the mother, Maria, Mary.
That's the connection.
The Greeks would make offerings to these stones. They were considered so sacred that even in times of war, invaders would not damage the Hermae of their enemies. They would destroy everything else, but not the Hermae. That's how sacred they were considered to be. With good reason. This symbol hides everything about alchemy, everything about gnosis, everything about Christianity, about the Egyptian mysticism, about Asian mysticism. It's all hidden in that simple symbol. The head represents the divinity, the perfected man, the primordial Adam, who comes out of the stone, who is perfected, who is sculpted, who is crafted out of stone, out of the earth. And the method to do it is through the erect masculine sexual organ, through sexual energy, through the upright, proper use with mindfulness of God,
wow,
of sexual power.
Wow.
So this symbol is from the Eleusinian mysteries, the heart and soul of Greek mythology. Mysteries that would never been communicated to humanity openly and publicly, even till now. There are many who claim to know all its secrets, but very few do. Those secrets are only conveyed through the internal worlds, not physically. This symbol hides for us the secrets of alchemy. And it's also hidden in the Bible. Jacob worshipped a Hermae. Genesis 22. Actually, I don't think it's Genesis 22. I think that's wrong. Anyway, in the book of Genesis, Jacob sleeps, has a dream of a ladder upon which he sees angels ascending and descending.
Up and down the ladder.
And he hears in his dream the messenger of God telling him about the promise that God made to Abraham. And when he wakes, Jacob, so inspired and moved, raises the stone that he'd been using to rest his head and anoints it with shemen. And he says, "And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house." This passage is really significant in several ways here. Firstly, the stone is set up as a pillar.
Listen to this part.
That stone is where he had rested his head. And you remember the Hermae are a stone pillar with the head on top.
Yeah.
Moreover, he anoints it with shemen, which in the Bible is translated as oil.
See this.
If you look at the spelling of that, S-M-N, it is semen.
Wow.
Oil in the Bible represents transmuted sexual energy. The anointing of oil is a symbol of transmutation.
Electromagnetic.
And the Greeks, when they would visit the Hermae, when they would approach a crossroads or the border of a territory, would always anoint the Hermae with flowers, with oil, with other substances. And that's what this image on the right shows. Greeks making offerings to Hermes. But what is the most precious element that we have access to?
Listen to this.
The
most precious element that they playing around with and trying to keep in a low
that has
access
the most
to
power is sexual energy. It's the energy that we can use to create life. It has the power of God. No power anywhere compares. So to offer that energy to God is the most profound sacrifice.
Most profound sacrifice.
And that's why the Greeks did it with these Hermai, and that's why Jacob does it in Genesis. But that offering is not.
So, the sexual energy gives you the ability to now offer the most powerful creative energy and use it in your magical manifestations. Now, when the environment that you live in is just programmed and set up in a way to keep that in a low access to you, to keep that away from you, and to hinder your ability to really take part in your own divine connection with the other part of you. What kind of society is this? Now, we've heard it from two scholars speaking on these topics, and if that's not enough for you to realize that, there's something bigger than what they put in front of our faces right now that we need to be paying attention to, that we're not paying attention to. There's something greater that's being hidden behind the flashlight, behind the gaslight, that we're missing. So while we're paying attention to everything else that's going on right now, they're dealing with Operation Quicksilver. And they are all over the world right now is being affected. Let's hear what Dr. Phil Valentine has to say about this one.
Cycle that solidifies or gives substance to the thing that you've been making that affirmation around. Mm-hmm. So you can see the accretion cycle in the periodic table as the original foundational element in matter is the hydrogen atom. Mm-hmm. But the hydrogen atom is simply a consolidation
matter is hydrogen, which is Christ.
Frequencies that constitute
electromagnetic sexual energy.
So, for instance, when they wanted to find that God particle we're talking about, mm-hmm.
The God particle.
Well, a God particle was actually the European man is, because of his pineal is calcified. He cannot do what melanin does in the activation of Kundalini, though he can if he does certain things with his body, eats certain ways, and so forth. Mm-hmm. Melanin, being the semiconductor that it is, it has a way of channeling what's within the atom. So let me just explain what I'm saying.
And that's why we're the serpent people, the Naga people, right? And that's why it's so important to make sure you understand the ship, the temple, and you use it to its maximum capabilities, right? And make sure that your nutrition is on point as well, because if your nutrition is not on point, you can't access none of this. You can't access none of this. And that's why they keep liquor stores on every corner. They keep a fast food on every block. And they make sure that they pollute the water in the best way that they can and keep you drinking it all the time. It's sickening. Let's go forward.
You heard about the Hadron Collider.
Yes.
That huge 5-mile thing that they had, that they created mm-hmm. in order to smash atoms. Mm-hmm. Well, they wanted to find out. They didn't know that the atom was not the actual smallest thing in the universe. Mm. And, so we said, well, okay, the atom is not the smallest thing in the universe. Then what is? So what they did was they took 2 protons and they had it come, they started the spin and they crashed it together, 2 protons together. Mm-hmm. Okay? This is the cycle. The 2 protons represents the Eta and the Pingala in your body. Mm.
Listen, this is the part right
That's
here.
the 2 snakes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
When they crashed the 2 protons together, what revealed itself is what they called the God particle. And what that God particle was is what we say in our class, a quantum central resonance, because the resonance looked just like a sound wave.
So encapsulated within the sexual energy and the explosion of ecstasy between the masculine and the feminine entities that are taking part in that act at the same time is the God particle, the energy of creation. How crazy is that? That's the power of sex. And that's why they want to control your libido. Then they want to keep it as depleted and as low as they can.
So at the center of the very atom is a sound wave. And that's what we call the word.
Fire, air, water, earth.
In the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God.
Mm-hmm. So at the center of every atom is a sound wave, you said.
The ability to create fire, air, water, earth.
You can't see it, but the resonance is on the invisible plane. That's the active principle that actually manifests everything out from its stated design. So every thought, like I said, every thought is a design. Mm-hmm. If you have a design, when you think of particular thought, depending on the emotions that you put on it, because you have to have a healthy emotional body in order to create on the physical realm. Mm. So when you're creating, your emotions becomes the diesel fuel. Mm. But when it's
remember what Sabi said, how his emotions was affected by the bad food that he used to eat before.
Mm. But you can use the power
of
emotion.
His lectures, how he would speak on that.
To give fuel to the affirmation that you're dealing with. This is why
Operation
sex
Quicksilver
or the sexual intercourse is so powerful, because you're releasing so much of your emotional energy.
Right.
And the female would be the perfect chalice or the perfect sounding board to enhance that. Mm-hmm. You see, because of the fact that she has an unlimited supply of that emotional, and she is the font of the emotional energy. Mm-hmm. Okay, we keep it in abeyance because of the fact that we're designed more for the intellect, for the grounding of that emotion. Mm-hmm. You see, so the emotional energy now is what we need, is what we put into all of our affirmations, but we direct it, we focus it. Mm-hmm. And it's the focus of emotional energy along with the design template of the affirmation that brings what you want, what you desire into being.
So your intention got to be there, and your emotions got to be there.
The proper emotions.
The proper emotions.
Indeed.
Right? How powerful is that? So we realize that they're depleting the nutrition and they're polluting the water, which is causing the libido to be down, the sex drive to be down, and it's causing the growth in population to be depleted all over the world. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, we understand how important sexual energy is to the alchemical process. Dr. Phil Valentine just showed that to us. The brother that was explaining it from an alchemical perspective just showed that to us. Now, let's hear it from a woman. Let's see what one of the sisters, one of the goddesses that's into her magical works has to say about this particular situation and how important sexual energy is and how she uses it in her magical processes. Let's hear.
To mention something, I have recently put up a post talking about how semen is a powerful element in magic, and somebody in the comments had made a great point. They basically was saying that, certain information shouldn't be revealed to the public, that certain information, magical information, should be kept secret. Now, here's the thing, right? Magic is not just something that anybody can just cast or successfully perform just by knowing, the recipe. Like, in order to perform powerful magic spells, like, this takes time and energy and knowledge and practice, a year. Now, I wanted to mention something. I have recently put up a post talking about how semen is a powerful element in magic, and somebody in the comments had made a great point. They basically was saying that, you know, certain information shouldn't be revealed to the public, that certain information, magical information, should be kept secret. Now, here's the thing, right? Magic is not just something that anybody can just cast or successfully perform just by knowing, like, the recipe. Like, in order to perform powerful magic spells, like, this takes time and energy and knowledge and practice and years of experience most of the time. So when we're given information, right, like, whenever I tell you guys about spells and stuff like that, like, I explain why we use certain things. I also explain certain procedures and practices that you need to do. If you go into...
So now, we've heard it from a goddess that is on the frequency, that's applying these practices as well, that's using this energy right now in her practices to manifest. Full circle. You can see what they're doing with it. You know how important it is, and you already acknowledge that persons are using it right now. How are you using your energy? Is your energy at the right level that it should be at? Are you making sure that your energy is maintained? Are you watching your diet? Are you watching the things that you consume? Are you watching the things that come into your cipher? Man, are you watching your significant other and making sure that they are watching their health as well? Because remember, your attraction to them is what's going to help you to manifest. We just learned the importance of sexual energy and how it's used. So, how are you using your energy? Leave us a comment down in the comment section and let's have a conversation about this, because this is a very important topic. For some reason, a lot of persons are not paying attention to this, but this is the real situation that is going on behind the gaslight of the last 2 to 3 years. Thanks again for watching. This is the Chaos Being Cypher here with another share. I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Do remember to like, comment, and share. Every time you listen to one of these occult reviews, we will have harmonized or binaural Kundalini frequencies playing. So you'll hear one frequency in the right and one frequency in the left. Depending on the particular video, we will have it flashing in the front.
To the Mercedes experience. Hell, I don't even know if I can handle both of y'all.
I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Don't worry, he can't get himself in the blender. He swears by his all-natural sex potion, but it's just Irish moss and Viagra. The coach sees us when you hear.